Namaste. Here we will read paragraph 13 and 14 from Karl Marx's treatise the Communist Manifesto, and try to understand what he's trying to say. Paragraph 14 is quite tough. Let's begin. So let's read paragraph 13 first. The bourgeoisie historically has played a most revolutionary part. If you remember what Karl Marx said in paragraph 13, for example, Karl Marx said in paragraph 13 that under the feudal nobility, the bourgeois was an oppressed class. And then Karl Marx said that in Italy and Germany, the bourgeoisie was an armed and self-governing association in the medieval commune. And then he said that the bourgeoisie functioned as a third state of the monarchy in France. And he argued that the bourgeoisie class has always supported the feudal system and the monarchy. Therefore, the bourgeoisie is regressive, conservative force. It cannot be a revolutionary force because it does not support, let's say, the change that communists want to bring. But now here in paragraph 14 he says that the bourgeoisie had played a most revolutionary part. The word revolutionary is satirical here. Please understand. Yes, the bourgeoisie has played a revolutionary role in the sense that it has destroyed all the classes that existed before it. But the bourgeoisie is not a true revolutionary class because the bourgeoisie doesn't bring a society without exploitation. The bourgeoisie class itself becomes the biggest source of exploitation. So the use of word revolutionary is very strategic here. Now let's read. Yes, the bourgeoisie has caused historical progress. The bourgeoisie has caused the society to change and develop. But on one side, the bourgeoisie has destroyed the old class antagonisms, but it has given birth to new class antagonisms. It has destroyed old exploitations, old forms of exploitations, but it has given birth to new forms of exploitation. Therefore, the bourgeoisie has played a revolutionary part in the sense that it has destroyed the old classes, old forms of exploitation, and helped to move the society ahead. But at the same time, it has also given birth to new classes and new forms of exploitation. Let's read how the bourgeoisie has destroyed old exploitation but given birth to new exploitation in paragraph 14. Marx writes, the bourgeoisie, wherever it has got the upper hand, has put an end to all feudal, patriarchal, idyllic relations. Three words to understand here: feudal relations, patriarchal relations, and idyllic relations. So let's read the meaning of the word feudal relations. I have a note here that I got from the Bing search for you. I'll read it. The phrase idyllic relations in the context of Marx's The Communist Manifesto, paragraph 13, refers to the pre-capitalist social and economic relations. Social and economic relations of that time when the bourgeois class was not yet formed. Pre-capitalist social and economic relations. And these pre-capitalist social economic relations were based on mutual cooperation, not only on money. I did something for you, you did something for me. These 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 uh, feudal, patriarchal, idyllic relations were based on mutual cooperation. These feudal, patriarchal, idyllic relations were based on mutual harmony. They were based on natural bond among people. So these relations were based on mutual cooperation, mutual harmony, and natural bond among people. Marx uses this term idyllic relations to contrast the alienation and exploitation and class conflict that characterize the capitalist mode of production. The feudal mode of production, the feudal mode of production was based on people's relation, economic relation, social relation, that was based on mutual cooperation, harmony, and natural bond. I repeat again, the feudal mode of production was based on social and economic relations that were based on mutual cooperation, mutual harmony, and natural bond among people. As opposed to it, the capitalist mode of production is based on the social and economic relations among people, which are based on alienation. Today, workers working in multinational factories work alone in a cell in front of a machine. They are alienated. They have no emotional attachment with their work. The relations in capitalist mode of production are based on alienation. They are based on exploitation. The worker gets a meager salary. From the worker's labor, the employer makes millions and the worker gets few pennies, few cents, a dollar. So, capitalist mode of production is based on human relations which have alienation, exploitation, and class conflict. Why class conflict? Because the employer exploits the employee. Remember last year you read some essays in the section work in chapter 5 of the New Directions. You read the essays like someone is stealing your life and our schedules ourselves and Los Pobres, where you read how workers are exploited by the employers. And here Karl Marx says that in feudal mode of production, that is the pre-capitalist mode of production, social and economic relations were based on mutual cooperation, mutual harmony, and natural bond among people. Whereas in capitalist mode of production, the social and economic relations among people are based on alienation, exploitation, and class conflict. So, do you see? Karl Marx is explaining how the bourgeois class has destroyed feudal mode of production and brought capitalist mode of production, has destroyed the mutual cooperation, mutual harmony, natural bond among people that was there during the feudal time, but it has brought new problem, the problem of alienation, exploitation, and class conflict, because the new capitalist mode of production involves human relations in which workers are lonely, alienated, in which workers are exploited by the employers, in which employers and employees fight because employers exploit employees. And let's read ahead this commentary that I brought for you from Bing Search. Please understand that I brought this commentary from Microsoft Edge Bing Search. Let me read. Marx does not use this term, the term idyllic relation, favorably, but rather critically, as he argues that these idyllic relations means relations based on mutual cooperation, mutual harmony, and natural bond. These idyllic relations were also oppressive and backward. Even in feudal production system, the relations between producers and workers, employers and workers, though they were based on mutual cooperation, harmony, and natural bond, they were also based on exploitation of the workers by the employers. So these relations were also oppressive and backward, and that these relations were destroyed by the historical development of the bourgeois. Right? Historical development of the bourgeois destroyed the idyllic mutual cooperation, harmony, and natural bond among people that was there present during the feudal mode of production. Then Marx sees communism as a higher stage of human society. Look, feudalism, capitalism, communism. Feudalism destroyed, capitalism destroyed, communism. So Karl Marx sees communism as a higher stage of human society that will overcome both the feudal and capitalist forms of exploitation and oppression and create a new association of free and equal producers. So this is utopian thought, idealistic opinion that the relations of exploitation in feudal mode of production and relations of exploitation in capitalistic mode of production will come to an end in communistic mode of production. It's almost 170 years since Karl Marx wrote this manifesto, and I do not know, to my knowledge, in any society in the world that has really no exploitation. Even North Korea, even China, people say that people are exploited. So I was explaining you the meaning of the word idyllic relations. Let me go back and read again. The bourgeoisie, wherever it has got the upper hand, has put an end to all feudal, patriarchal, idyllic relations. It has destroyed relations based on cooperation, harmony, natural bond, but it has brought new relations which are based on alienation, exploitation, and class conflict. He writes further, it means the bourgeoisie, the middle class. It has pitilessly torn asunder the mortally feudal ties that bound man to his natural superiors and has left remaining no other nexus between man and man than naked self-interest, than callous cash payment. In this long sentence, we have two phrases to understand, or let's say three phrases. The mortally feudal ties. What does it mean? I repeat, the mortally feudal ties. Second phrase, natural superiors. What does it mean? Third phrase, callous cash payment. So let me again read the notes I brought from Bing Search. Let's first check what does the phrase the mortally feudal ties mean. Here is the note. Let me read from the note. The phrase the mortally feudal ties in the context of Karl Marx's The Communist Manifesto, paragraph 13, means the various forms of social and political obligations. Look, the mortally feudal ties. I repeat, the mortally feudal ties means the various forms of social and political duties and obligations that existed under feudalism. For example, loyalty to the noble class, loyalty to the king, loyalty to the Lord, homage to the Lord, service to the Lord, tribute to the Lord. So, under feudalism, the juniors, the lower classes, working classes, serfs, slaves, people in the lower hierarchy of society, they were obliged to show loyalty to people in upper class. They were obliged to pay homage to people in upper class. They were obliged to pay service and tribute to people in upper class. This relation in which people at lower level had to show loyalty, homage, and service and tribute to people at upper level is known as the mortally feudal ties. In feudal society, people at lower level in the society had to show loyalty, homage, and service and tribute to higher lords and noblemen. Let's read ahead. These ties of loyalty, homage, service, and tribute to seniors or lords. These ties bound people to their natural superiors. And who were natural superiors? The lords were natural superiors. By birth, they were superior. The kings were natural superiors. The priests were natural superiors. By birth, you could not question their superiority. The Lord, the king, the priest was by nature a superior. So you had to be loyal to the Lord. You had to be loyal to the king. You had to be loyal to the priest. You had to pay homage to the Lord, king, and priest. You had to serve the Lord, king, and priest. You had to pay tribute to the Lord, king, and priest because they were naturally superior to you. And such relation where the Lord, the king, the priest was your natural superior, it created hierarchical and rigid society where there was social gradation and rank, as Karl Marx says in paragraph 3, I guess. Marx uses this term, Marx uses this term, which term? The mortally feudal ties. Marx uses this term to criticize the feudal system as oppressive and irrational. Look, Marx criticizes feudal society by saying that in feudal society there were natural superiors. Who were natural superiors? The lords, kings, and priests were your natural superiors, and you had to pay loyalty, homage, service, and tribute to these natural superiors. And these natural superiors exploited the so-called natural inferiors. Okay, move ahead. And to show how the bourgeoisie destroyed these ties, so the middle class, as it rose to power, the bourgeoisie class overthrew the feudal class. And when the feudal class was destroyed, lords were destroyed, kings were destroyed, priests were destroyed, and this natural superiority was also destroyed. So the bourgeoisie was a revolutionary class in the sense that the bourgeoisie was a revolutionary class in the sense that it destroyed the feudal class and thereby ended the natural superiors like the lord, the king, and the priest, right? And it now the bourgeoisie destroyed these natural ties where you had to pay loyalty, homage, and service and tribute to your natural superiors. But in place of these relations, the bourgeoisie brought new relations of exploitation. What? The bourgeoisie or middle class brought the the uh, market exchange system. And now this market exchange system was based on self-interest and money. Now in new capitalist mode of production, self-interest became the center. In new capitalist mode of production, money became the center. In the feudal mode of production, your natural superiors were there, lords were at the center, kings were at the center, priests were at the center. You had to pay loyalty, homage, and service and tribute to them. And the bourgeoisie overthrew the feudal system and destroyed these natural superiors. But the problem is the bourgeoisie brought new relations of exploitation. And what is the new relation? The relation between money and man. Money and man. Now the man does everything for money. The man has become so selfish, so self-interested that he can kill anybody for money. He can do any heinous crime for money. Because now the bourgeoisie has taught everyone that the most important thing is money. Money is God. So Karl Marx writes in the note as I read, the bourgeoisie replaced these relations with market exchange, distribution of goods. And this market exchange is based on self-interest, making profit and money. Marx sees this market exchange as a historical progress, yes, in comparison to feudal system, in comparison to natural superiors, in comparison to lords, kings, and priests, in comparison to loyalty, homage, and service and tribute. The new market exchange based on self-interest and money seems historically progressive, but this new market exchange system is also a new source of exploitation. It is also new form of exploitation and alienation under capitalism. So the capitalism is also not free from exploitation. It has it has brought one form of exploitation to an end, but brought another form of exploitation. It ended the exploitation of the lords, exploitation of the kings, exploitation of the priests. It ended the loyalty, homage, service, and tribute. But it introduced the market exchange based on self-interest and money, where the worker, the laborer, is exploited, alienated under the forces of capitalism. Let's go ahead. I was explaining the phrase, uh, the motley feudal ties and natural superiors. Read the line. It has pitilessly torn asunder the motley feudal ties and bound man to his natural superiors, and has left remaining no other nexus between man and man than naked self-interest, than callous cash payment. Today, what is most important? Cash. Father is not important. Mother is not important. Priest is not important. King is not important. Lord is not important. Daughter is not important. Nothing is important. Cash is important. Money is the most powerful thing. It means the bourgeoisie. The bourgeoisie has. Let me also take my what do you call snacks? I don't know the English word for this. Sorry. It has drowned the most heavenly ecstasies of religious fervor, of chivalrous enthusiasm, of Philistine sentimentalism in the icy water of egotistical calculation. Let me take you another note and understand what Marx means by the phrase the most heavenly ecstasies of religious fervor. Let me read a note I brought from Bing Search. So the phrase the most heavenly ecstasies of religious fervor in paragraph 13 means the highest and most sublime expressions of religious devotion, enthusiasm, and zeal. So, religious fervor means, I repeat, religious, most heavenly ecstasies of religious fervor means the most sublime expressions of religious devotion, enthusiasm, and zeal that characterized some aspects of feudal society. The people in feudal society had this religious devotion, religious enthusiasm, and religious zeal. Like they fought for Christianity, crusades. They will die, they will kill people on the basis of religious belief. Monastic orders, people lived in monasteries as they lived ascetic life. They lived saintly lives. They sacrificed pleasures, ascetic orders of the mystics. Marx uses this term, the most heavenly ecstatic ecstasies of religious fervor, to contrast the spiritual values and ideals that motivated people under feudalism, and to show how the bourgeoisie has drowned these spiritual values and ideals in the icy water of egotistical calculation, meaning that the rational and self-interested pursuit of profit that dominates capitalism. Today, profit is everything. Today, self-interest is everything. Today, spiritual values are nothing. Today, spiritual ideals are nothing. Today, religious devotion is nothing. Today, religious enthusiasm is nothing. Religious zeal is nothing. What is everything? Self-interested search of profit is everything. In one word, for capitalism, the basic mantra is profit, profit, profit. Okay, understand. So Marx sees this as a historical progress. Yes, the bourgeois class destroyed uh, feudal system. The bourgeois class destroyed the religious devotion, enthusiasm, and zeal that characterized feudal society, because this religious devotion is also cause of exploitation. But the problem is that in place of the religious devotion, enthusiasm, and zeal, capitalism introduced the rational and self-interested search for profit. One goes to any extent of exploitation and crime to make profit. Profit is at the heart of capitalism. So Marx says that yes, there was historical progress because society changed. But the problem was that this historical progress, which threw away feudal society and brought bourgeois society, did not do away with exploitation. It brought new forms of exploitation, new sources of exploitation, alienation under capitalism. Let's go back and read again and finish the paragraph. So we have another phrases like the most heavenly ecstasies of religious fervor, of chivalrous enthusiasm and Philistine sentimentalism. Let's understand the two words chivalrous enthusiasm and Philistine sentimentalism. What do they mean? I have notes for you. Okay. The phrase chivalrous enthusiasm means the passionate and noble spirit that inspired some aspect of feudal society, such as the knights, the Crusaders. Look, the knights are very much dedicated to people, they protected others. Knights, Crusaders, they fought for their faith. Or the courtly love poets. Marx uses this term chivalrous, Marx uses this term chivalrous enthusiasm to contrast the moral values and ideals of the feudal society that motivated people under feudalism, and to show how the bourgeoisie has drowned these feudal moral values and moral ideals in the icy water of egotistical calculation, meaning the rational and self interested pursuit of profit that dominates capitalism. All the values, all the ideals of the knights and crusaders and noblemen have gone away. And what is there now? There is only one thing: rational, self interested, self centered pursuit of profit. So Marx sees this as historical progress. Yes, knights are gone, crusaders are gone, lords are gone, kings are gone, priests are gone, feudal lords are gone, but there's also new form of exploitation and alienation under capitalism. Now, capitalism has become the biggest problem because it exploits everyone. Okay, read ahead. It means the bourgeoisie, it has resolved personal worth into exchange value, and in place of the numberless indefeasible chartered freedoms has set up that single unconscionable freedom, free trade. Let me take you down and show you meanings of further phrases like what is personal worth, what is exchange value, what do we mean by numberless indefeasible chartered freedoms, and what do we mean by single unconcealable freedoms. I have brought some notes from Big Cells. I'll take help of those notes to make you understand. Here we go. So, yes. So, what does the phrase Philistine sentimentalism mean? So, Philistine sentimentalism means the shallow and vulgar emotions that characterized some aspects of feudal society, like such as the petty bourgeoisie, the merchants, or the artisans. Marx uses this term Philistine sentimentalism to contrast the cultural values and tastes that motivated people under feudalism, and to show how the bourgeoisie has drowned them in the icy water of egotistical calculation, meaning the rational and self interested pursuit of profit that dominates capitalism. So Marx sees this as historical progress, but also a source of new forms of exploitation and alienation under capitalism. Now, what does personal worth mean? So personal worth means the intrinsic value and dignity of a human being. I repeat, personal worth means the intrinsic value and dignity of a human being, regardless of their social status. I may be a prime minister, but I'm a human being. Today, if I'm a prime minister, I have one value. If I'm just a farmer, I have a lower value. Do you see? Today, people's value is measured by the role they play in society, the status they maintain, the position, the posts, the jobs they have. So, so okay, personal worth means the intrinsic value and dignity of a human being, regardless of their social status, wealth, or occupation. Marx uses this term personal worth to criticize the capitalist system that reduces people to their exchange value. My value is my salary. My university pays me 50,000, so my value is 50,000. If you earn 10,000, you're lower than me because you earn less than me. Look, wrong, wrong. One should not be valued on the basis of how much they earn. But this is reality. Today, people judge on the basis of the wallet. So, uh, so the capitalist system reduces people to their exchange value. Exchange value means the money I bring. If I sell this mouse in 10 rupees, so 10 rupees it is exchange value. Okay, let's move ahead. Meaning the amount of money that they can earn or pay in the market. So my exchange value is how much money I can pay my credit card. My exchange value is my credit rating. Marx argues that capitalism destroys personal worth by creating a society where everything is commodified. I'm a commodity. I sell myself early morning at 6. I reach a college. I teach 2, 3 classes. I earn money in the day. I go to my university. I sell myself, earn money in the evening. In night, I go to another college. I sell my earn money. I'm selling my labor. I'm a commodity. Okay. And my worth is measured by how much I earn. And where human relations are based on self-interest. See, Nepalese who go to Gulf countries are valued less than Nepalese who go to Canada, Australia, and America. Do you see? See the reality. Nepalese who go to Malaysia have little value, worth than Nepalese who go to Australia, Canada, and America because they are more. Let's go back to the paragraph. How beautifully Marx is arguing. Let's read. So our personal worth is changed into exchange value, and now in place of indefeasible chartered freedoms, we have one freedom, free trade. Come back and let's understand the next phrase. What is the numberless indefeasible chartered freedoms? Understand. So indefeasible chartered freedoms means the countless and undeniable rights and privileges that were granted to different groups and individuals under feudalism, such as guilds had some rights given by the feudal lords, towns had rights, nobles had rights, and these rights were given by royal charter. In Nepal also under kingship you had Hukum Pramangi, king's order, right? And in church also you had what do you call the Pope could write a chit, a note, and absolve from all the sins. The royal chartered, the royal charters or other legal documents you were used to give these rights. Marx uses this term, what term? The numberless indefeasible chartered freedom, to criticize the feudal system that created a complex and unequal arrangement of society. This feudal system of chartered freedom created hierarchies, right? There were feuds, there were guilds, guildmasters, towns, nobles, and subs. It created complex, unequal arrangement in society, various orders, ranks, and Marx shows how the bourgeoisie has replaced these freedoms with one single unconcealable freedom of free trade. Now you are free to do business, meaning that unrestricted, uncontrolled, cruel competition, cutthroat competition of the market that dominates capitalism. Marx sees this as a historical progress, yes, no doubt. Guilds have gone, towns have gone, nobles have gone, kings have gone, priests have gone, lords have gone, no doubt. But new lords have come, new kings have come. Capitalism, right? Where everyone is exploited by the capitalist. The workers are alienated. The biggest ghost today, the biggest devil today is capitalism, according to Marx. Go back to the paragraph we're reading. Okay, let's read. In one word, for exploitation. So there is exploitation of the capitalism. Hailed by religious and political illusions, it has substituted. In the feudal society, exploitation was covered under the veil of religious value, political promise. Today, there is naked exploitation, shameless exploitation, brutal exploitation of the capitalistic system, the exploitation of the working class. In this way, let's quickly wrap up. This was a complex paragraph. Karl Marx tells how the bourgeoisie, wherever it has become powerful, it has exploited other classes, though the bourgeoisie has destroyed feudal, patriarchal, idyllic relations which were based on mutual cooperation, harmony, and natural bond, but it has given birth to new relations which are based on alienation, oppression, and exploitation. It has replaced natural superiors, and it has brought cash payment. It has destroyed religious values, ideals, and it has destroyed other feudal values and ideals, and it has destroyed personal worth. It has brought excess value. Money is everything, profit is everything, and this idea that money is everything, profit is everything is causing exploitation of the greater part of society. It was a long paragraph, complex paragraph. It took a long time. Sorry if you felt bored. Hope you watched it and understand. Thank you.